Great morning, great morning, great morning. I am Nicole D. Jones, and I'm just happy and grateful for another day. I'm happy and grateful for life. I'm happy and grateful for you. I don't take life for granted. I don't take you for granted. I am just happy and grateful because every day that we wake up, I understand that it is a gift, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful that we have life today. We have breath in our body at 10 o'clock a.m. because somebody did not wake up this morning. So as always, thank you, thank you, thank you. I know it's an observed holiday for some of you all. So thank you for always being willing to come meet me here on Monday morning for 30 minutes of your time. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. Um, I won't belabor because I have been in a space and last week we talked about who we are because we're in a place where we're learning to be who we are unapologetically through a posture of submission and humility, never arrogance and pride. And if I ask you this morning after last week, who are you? I hope that your answer would be someone deeply loved by Jehovah God. All right. But just to kind of recap from last week, because you got to remember, I do this and I'm in this space right now where I just want to be the best version of me unapologetically. I want to know, I want to feel every piece of what's going on. Yesterday was Father's Day. It's the first day, Father's Day without dad here physically. But when I tell you, I can't lie. Yesterday, my day started off very heavy and very rough. I woke up trying to put the face on, and I'm being honest because it's part of what I'm gonna share with you for Meal Prep Monday today. But I tried to put on the face, and I tried to be hard, and tried to be strong, and tried to be all these things. And Tia calls me about, I don't know, maybe 9 in the morning, and as soon as she didn't say anything about my dad, but I know just as a friend, she's calling to kind of see where my headspace was. And as soon as I said, man, I miss dad, it broke. I broke, y'all. I broke. I was in fetal position in the bathroom. Husband had to come console me, and I had to get off the phone and all of that. But I say that because in learning to be the best version of you unapologetically, you got to understand that even though we look at ourselves as one self, that we're not. We are many parts. We have many different parts of us, okay? And so it's natural. He was my dad. He was my rock. He was my strength. He's my everything. He still is. So that natural part of me, of course, I had to release it. I had to feel it. I had to do all these things. But one thing I'm grateful for in this season of knowing who I am, understanding who I am, understanding that my first self, my original DNA is spirit. I told y'all we're spirit with the soul wrapped in this flesh. My original DNA is spirit. I'm a spirit man, okay? I'm in this flesh. I feel what I feel, but I was able to get up and remind myself that I am loved deeply. And because I was able to remind myself that I'm loved deeply, then I had to remember that I'll never be left. I'll never be forsaken. He'll never leave me. He'll never forsake me. Even in my time of sorrow, he'll be the one to wipe my tears. Who is he? It's Jehovah God. Like I had to bring that back. And then it was beautiful because it was a Sunday. All right. So I was able to go around like-minded people and gain strength, even if it wasn't through words, it was just through energy. But who are you? You're someone loved deeply by God. We talked about that last week, all right? And the reason I'm saying this on a Meal Prep Monday, I do this on Mondays to try to kind of just get your mind in a space so that when this journey and this life happens through the week, you got something to fall back on, okay? So we got to know that in order for us to be the best versions of us unapologetically, we got to get that revelation, okay? The revelation begins when knowing that God loves me. God loves you. Okay? Whatever, whoever you want to name them, at the end of the day, Jehovah God, it just is what it is. No one can enter in without going through Jesus. Okay? So whatever we do through the journey, at the end of the day, we're all spirit. So the creator of your spirit loves you. That's what you have to know first. That's where revelation begins. All right? It's only then when you begin to experience exposure without condemnation. Now, this is what I'm saying. In order for us to be the best version of us, we got to understand that it is more than just our one Nicole. I am Nicole. I am Nicole. It's only one me. But within me, there is a mother, there is a wife, there is a sister, there is a friend, there's an enemy. Somebody don't like me. You're one person. You're who you are with many parts. Okay. I hope that makes sense. All right. So you got to know that. And then the reason it's important, and revelation starts with you understanding that you're deeply loved by God. You got to understand that. I got to understand that as a mother, I'm not picture perfect. As a friend, I'm not picture perfect. As a sister, I'm not picture perfect. Okay. You got to understand that you're these many parts, but in these many parts, there's a good and there's a bad. There's a different and indifferent, and there's a difference. There's one part that's liked and that's not. All right. You got to begin to do that, because in order to be the best version of you, you got to be willing to look at you. All right. Nicole, what this got to do with me getting my mind together? Got a lot to do with it, because we're learning to be the best versions of us, but we've got to be able to be willing to look at ourselves. If we can't look at ourselves, we'll always be a victim. Because y'all do understand at this point, I don't know how old you are, but at 49, I do understand that every day is not going to be a good day for me. I understand that every day is great, but it's up for me to keep it that way. Yesterday was still a great day, even though it was Father's Day. I had to remember that even though my father's gone, my son's father isn't. I couldn't take Father's Day away from a father because my father's gone. All right? We got to learn how to look at us. Okay? And then we got to remember when we look at us that we're loved. And because we're loved, God wanted me to have, he didn't want me to be sad. My dad, so we won't even go that deep, all right? My dad wouldn't have wanted me sad. And then if I would have been sad because of him, my dad would have been like, girl, bye. You were sad because you wanted to be, and now you trying to blame me, all right? It wouldn't have been so. My dad was free. My dad was in a retirement state, literally, all right? He didn't even have a clock in his house. I forced him. I got him a Apple Watch, and he told me I had him on, what did he tell me? Instead of an ankle monitor that they put on you when you get out of jail, I had him on a wrist monitor. Indeed, I did. I tracked everywhere Mr. Johnson went. But my dad, his mentality was just free. He was able to get up and do whatever he wanted to do unless we had an appointment. All right. He would have never wanted me to be robbed of my day. And that's what I had to do. See, in order to be the best versions of us, we got to keep things in the right perspective. And the right perspective to do that is to understand that you are deeply loved, to understand that you deserve a full day, to understand that you deserve to smile in a day, to understand that trials and tribulations are going to come. Life is going to happen. This journey is going to happen, okay? Some days it's rainy, some days it's sunny. We've talked about that, learning to dance through the storm, not always wanting to go and find shelter. But the reason that we we respond this way is because there's so many different parts of us, okay? We're one person, we're one being, but there's so many different parts to us. And in order for us to be who we are unapologetically, in order for us to deal with that coworker that plucks that right nerve, in order for us to be able to get up when we feel down, we got to understand that we have every one of those parts and that we're not picture perfect. You got to know that your junk stink too, all right? You got a little bit of junk in your trunk, but it's okay. Because if you didn't have stuff to clean out, what would you... Well, why would you need to exist? Okay. Anyway, so you got to know, you got to understand that in order to be the best version of you, you got to be willing to see these parts of you that are not picture perfect, that are not lined up and correct, and know that you're looking at them in a safe place, not to be condemned, but to be better. Okay? I don't pull out my dirty laundry with my safe place for them to sit up and talk about me and tell me everything that I already know is wrong. And I'm more in denial about what's wrong than not denial. No. We don't do that. Okay? But it's when we get to a place where we can see these things that are not all the way great about ourselves, but we're willing to face them, knowing that even though it is us, even though it's not all that, even though it's ugly, even though we're ashamed, there is a love that covers us that wants to help us clean it up so that we can be the best version of us. All right? But you got to know that knowing and trusting is a lifelong process. You have to begin with the willingness of vulnerability of your ugly. All right? This is the foundational knowledge of being the best version of you. Okay? So you got to be willing to do it. Okay? In order to be the best version of you, I don't know I don't know about you, but for me, I realized that it's in really searching those parts of me that hold on, because I wrote it down. No, I didn't. I highlighted it. I got notes everywhere. Hold on one second. Let's see. Where'd it go? Okay. In order to be the best version of you, you got to be willing to expose the parts of you that you want to ignore. Okay? That's not what I want to tell you, but I don't know where I wrote it down. It's okay. I don't know. But you got to be willing to expose like those parts of you that we just don't want to see. It's easy for us to ignore parts of us that are hard to face, okay? This is what I mean. This is a part of a book that I'm reading that I'm sharing with y'all. All right, the problem is that there are important aspects of our experience that we tend to ignore, all right? We refuse to face our feelings of shame. They make us feel too vulnerable. So we pretend that they do not exist and hope that they will go away. Or it may be our brokenness. We don't want to face broken and wounded parts of ourselves that we try to deny. When we do that, these unwanted parts of ourselves do not go away. They simply go into hiding. For example, I only know my strong, competent self, and I'm never able to embrace my weak or insecure self. I am forced to live a lie. Now I'm reading from a book. I must pretend that I am strong and competent, not simply that I have strong and competent parts, or that are under certain circumstances, I can be strong and competent. Similarly, if I refuse to face my deceitful self, I live an illusion regarding my own integrity. Or if I'm unwilling to acknowledge my prideful self, I live an illusion of false modesty. Okay. So when I talk about like being the best version of us, we got to be willing to see those things. You know how like everybody can see us but us? Everyone can see what's wrong with you but you. Like people around me say I'm controlling. Me controlling? Never. That thing. All right. If you, I am controlling. Okay. And before a long time, I didn't think I was controlling. I felt like I was trying to help you. So because I was trying to help you, you just, but when I had to like, and when I had to start on this journey of being the best version of me, I had to realize that I am controlling. All right. But I'm controlling. See, I had to go and look at that thing. All right. I had to realize that I was controlling because I felt like my mom tried to control me and my sister. She still does. Like my sister is older than me. My mom still controls us, tries to at least. And then growing up, going against it or challenging her, I was bad. But you're controlling. But I had to be honest with myself. Okay. That's something that everyone saw that I just refused to see. See, when you hear stuff over and over about yourself from a safe place, even sometimes not even from a safe place, because what we can't see, people can see. You might want to, in your safe place, go on and try to examine that. Because while you're being the best version of you, you got to understand you can't do this journey by yourself. All right. You got to have people in your safe place that are connected to Jehovah God. Okay. Because when neither one of us know what to do, somebody need to be strong enough to be hearing from the Holy Spirit that we can talk and help each other in conversation. This is why I say you got to know who has access to you. You got to know who's placed in your life and what place and what role they are playing at this specific time in your journey so that you can be the best version of you. Okay. So you got to also be willing while you're learning to be the best version of you. And I'm saying this because when you start putting your eyes and your focus on you, yes, the people at your job is still irritating, but I guarantee you that irritation is going to become minimal. Number one, because you're not going to focus on them no more. And number two, when they come for you, you're going to be in a different mindset and in a different posture that you're not even going to respond and react to them the same way. Okay. Forrest Gump, go watch it. I'm trying to tell you, he's a good influence. All right. But you got to know, and for yourself, if you're taking notes or when you get off the call, be intentional for yourself. You being the best version of you. Love on you the most. Okay. Write out who you are. Name those places. Okay. Are you confident? Are you strong? Are you playful? Are you like, all of these are parts of who you are. You got to know who you are. Okay. But you also got to be willing to think about, because you may be like, Nicole, ain't nothing wrong with me. Like, I can't think of it. I mean, I do need to work on being a little patient, but other than that, I don't know. I don't think anything's wrong. Okay, well, that's wrong right there. Okay. Because none of us is perfect. But if you can't come up with anything, it's fine. Think of some stuff that people close to you say to you, or you start acting a certain way and then they begin to withdraw from you. Okay? Think about it. Because if you spend time with people, you know certain conversations or certain ways you start acting, and they just kind of get quiet. Because if you're around, I know for a fact I do that with people. When I think you in your own self-denial, I done told y'all now, self-denial is the worst denial to have. When you self-deceive, when you deceive yourself, the enemy doesn't have to deceive you. you actually do him a favor. Remember that, all right? So you gotta know, you gotta acknowledge these different parts. They're learning to be the best versions of us. So in doing that, you gotta acknowledge these parts, okay? Because you also have to know that even like growing up, when you're a kid, most of us grew up where what was acknowledged of us was the things we did good. Okay. We the things that we did that are like character flaws, that's not the stuff that, well, my parents didn't acknowledge them and help me work through them. You know, those things are things that usually were kind of put on the back burner, or you got in trouble for, you had to stop it, you know. I'm having to learn, because Jaden is like me. He's a talker. He and I'd be like, oh my God, rest your lips, boy. Right? Now, I'm understanding though, this is a part of his character. Okay. So instead of just always be quiet, be quiet, be quiet, be quiet, be quiet, and make him uncomfortable, like he talks too much, I'm trying to teach him how to tailor it, or how to stop going from one thing to another, like give people a break, let people's brains like kind of woosah, okay? Because if you think about it, and to some people that might be okay. To me, it can lead to so many different things. Like now you're disrespectful because you just won't be quiet, okay? Everything doesn't require a response. Like these are things that I grew up on. These are things that I feel to be right, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they are. So I don't want to shut him down. See, with him, I'm trying to learn about it. But if we're honest with ourselves, most of us growing up, we didn't praise for what we were praised for, and anything outside of that, we just couldn't. Why can't I? Because I said so. But why can't? Because that's what I said. Children are to be seen, not heard, all of that. So you got to remember that all that is in our minds too. And we got to learn how to deal with those things, all right? We're talking about being the best versions of us. Listen, so I think that was a whole lot. I got so much more to share, but I don't want to. I want us to really focus on knowing who we are, knowing whose we are, getting to a point that when someone asks, who are you? I'm someone deeply loved. I mean, what do you do? Oh, I work for the CDC. I'm a program analyst. But you ask me, who am I? Because there's a difference. When we start getting into that and start really embracing that, I promise y'all, listen, this is the season that I'm in. If it wasn't for that, I probably would have stayed in fetal position. If it wasn't for that, I probably would have been robbed of my yesterday. Okay? I'm saying this to you because I want us to be the best versions of us unapologetically. I want us to understand that when life doesn't make sense, when life doesn't go the way we thought it should, when things happen or someone makes us angry or sad or whatever, we don't have to forfeit our whole day. What if someone makes you mad at 8 o'clock in the morning and now you've spent the whole day angry? That's not fair to you, because I guarantee you the person that made you mad done went on with their day. So why am I saying this on Meal Prep Monday? I want to encourage you. I want to remind you that you are healthy, that you are wealthy, that you are prosperous, that speaking affirmations to yourself is relevant, it's necessary, it's mandatory, it's needed, but you got to do the next step. You got to believe it. And even if you don't believe it, then you ask Jehovah God to help you with your unbelief. You got to feed yourself. You got to understand that even though I'm Nicole D. Jones, even though you are who you are a one shell with many parts to you. Okay? many parts to you. There are some parts of you that are strong. There are some parts of you that are vulnerable. But at the end of the day, it's all you. So in order for you to be the best version of you, you got to find that balance. We gotta understand our strengths, but be willing to face our weaknesses in a safe place that we can find that balance so that we can walk out and be the best version of us. We can get every miracle, sign, and wonder that is predestined and preordained in our path every day. Every day I get miracle signs and wonders. Every day I am blessed, and every day I'm a blessing to somebody. Okay? There's not a day that I believe I walk this earth that I don't walk in that. All right? We just got to learn how to shift our perspective and understand what being blessed is. Understand what a miracle really is. All right? It was a miracle for me to make it through yesterday. Anyone who knows me and my dad, it was a miracle. All right? And I saw his signs and I saw his wonders. And thank you for everyone who checked on me. Thank you for everyone who reached out to me. Man, I had people reach out to me yesterday that I had not even heard from. A kind word. Let me know that I was on their mind. Thank you. That's the miracles. That's the sign for me to know that Jehovah God's hand is on my life. He's not away from me. He's intentional. He loves me. Okay? I need you to know we're created in love. You can't be anything else. All right? Your poor, stay focused, stay humble, stay positive. Be willing to be vulnerable to yourself because you deserve it. All right? You deserve it. You deserve to be the fullness of who you are. I deserve to be the best version of me. I deserve to do it unapologetically. I deserve all the greatness. I deserve to pour out greatness. All right? And so do you. Okay? So again, I am Nicole D. Jones, and I want you to continue to have a fantabulous rest of the day. Smooches.